And we're live. Hello, Matt.
How's it going? How you doing?
Not too bad. I haven't heard from you in about 3 weeks as far as recording podcasts go. So you must have played a lot of video games, huh?
Yes. I played maybe about 1 second of let's see, some Sega Genesis, Zero Wing. That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's say 10 minutes. Let's say 10 more minutes. Yeah.
10 minutes. Oh, okay.
Yes. Good
It
times.
sounds like you don't have anything you can do then as far as talking about video games, other than digging into the nostalgic part of your brain where you can reminisce of all the times of your youth.
Well, see, that's what I like to do. So in a way, it's intentional. Very intentional. See, the thing is, even if I had been playing games, it probably would have been some obscure, 90s CD game or something wild.
Snatcher,
man. It's next on the list. Someday, when the list moves forward. The list, man.
right? Meanwhile, the rest of the world is excited because last week Metroid Dread came out.
Yes, Metroid Dread. But see, that's a series from back in the day, so we can kind of connect the dots here and
That's true.
tell a story. Yeah. Rest of the world. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I am not needlessly. I mean, it seems to be everyone's opinion of me, but I'm not just uber focused on everything from the past or anything. But I don't I don't really follow the newest game news. Sometimes I'll just get sick of it and just kind of dodge it for a month or two. It's a weird thing. It's like that with movies.
Yeah.
It's like that with anything. And part of it is nowadays we all face information overload and just overload in all senses, right?
Yeah.
So just to disconnect and kind of just focus on what you already have can be a fun thing, whether it's games or some other thing. So I knew Metroid Dread was coming out, but I didn't necessarily get excited about it.
I ended up buying it.
Yeah.
I was kind of sold on the idea because I every now and then look at Twitter, and there's a game developer, Alexander Bruce, who made Antichamber. He was radio silent on social media for a couple of years, but he came back and he's been talking about his own stuff. And I saw him giddily praising how much he loves Metroid Dread, and so I was like, oh man, okay, well, I guess I need to buy it. And I'll tell you, man, I'm not impressed.
How far are you?
I'm 9 minutes in.
And it's on the chopping block already? That must have been a bad 9 minutes. Wow.
That was a bad 9 minutes. So out of that 9 minutes, I got to play it for a minute and a half.
Wow, it sounds like Final Fantasy on PlayStation.
No, it sounds like Metroid Fusion on Switch. I was taking a look because I was so surprised. Metroid Fusion, you do not gain control of Samus until 7 minutes and 45 seconds into the game. And Metroid Dread, it's the same. It's not until 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the game you actually gain control of the character.
Maybe they got some good feedback from Fusion and they just had to work it back in.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's the exact same. It's the exact same thing. They start off with an opening, and then they have your computer is talking to you and telling you you shouldn't do this mission. This mission's it's not worth the bounty that's on it. You better take care of yourself, lady. And it literally calls you lady.
Yeah.
I'm not. I didn't enjoy Metroid Fusion. I didn't enjoy the computer interrupting your gameplay all the time to talk to you. And in the minute and a half that I did get control over my character, it interrupted me once to talk to me. Not impressed.
Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
Yep.
One eternity later.
Speaking of interruptions.
So, you should play Snatcher. Snatcher. So, okay. First of all, my opinion on such things. I hate games that don't let you play. I hate it when it's all talking and clicking through talking. I get the need for a tutorial sometimes. I mean, something like a Metroidvania. I haven't played Dread. Maybe it's so off the wall you need all this tutorial, or maybe it's not. It's more story or whatever.
It's story. It's not even
story.
tutorial.
Oh, I'd be pieced out hardcore. I'd also probably be whining after 9 minutes. But yeah, I get the need for that when it's part of. I don't know. Even if it's a tutorial, it should be integrated well, in my opinion. But just giving me 10 minutes of story, my God. So anyway, Snatcher. Okay, so I'm playing it on the PC Engine, and now the PC Engine. I forget if I talked about this on this podcast before, but it doesn't use memory cards. But it's a CD system. And so to save, I don't actually know the exact mechanism, but I guess there's a giant capacitor in it that powers something that just keeps the data in memory. So if you put your PC Engine away for like 2 years, everything's going to be gone. But as long as you're using it regularly, when it's being run, that capacitor charges up. Now, I don't know how. Do I just keep it plugged in forever and it's fine, or like I don't really know the mechanism. But the first time I played Snatcher and I tried to save, it said you can't save. I forget what the message was, some error or whatever. And I was like, okay. And so I looked it up, and it was saying, do this. Like on the internet, people were saying, do this, do that. And so I kept playing through the first part of Snatcher to make sure I was able to save, because I didn't want to keep going without that. Now, Snatcher, before it lets you do anything and make any choices and save and be playing the game, is like 40 minutes. And it's just utterly, like not even knowing if I'm going to be saving and if I'm going to restart everything is just madness. So
yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know where this comparison was going, because I haven't played Snatcher, but I always had the impression that it was a very story-heavy thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a choose your own adventure book on 90s CD system, basically. It's
Nice.
interesting. It's hardly, I don't know. I doubt I'm going to come out of it telling you it's my favorite game ever, but I figured I'd give it a spin since it's kind of part of the whole, indirectly part of the Metal Gear legacy and stuff. Anyway, Snatcher's Snatcher. Yeah, I hate it when they do that. I also, even if it was like a tutorial, like I feel like Metroidvania kind of stuff is like, just give it to me and I'll play. Like most people kind of have that down, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because I mean, part of what sold me on picking this up is I recently picked up the 3DS reimagining of Metroid 2, and I played that, and I feel like that is the best of all of the Metroid games. And so by comparison, in Samus Returns, in Metroid Dread, you first gain control of your character at the 7.5 minute mark. In Metroid Samus Returns, by the 7:30 mark, you've already navigated some of the map, learned the basics of combat, found your first missile upgrade, found your first movement upgrade, figured out how to open locked doors, saved the game, gotten your second suit upgrade, and maybe even found your second missile upgrade.
You're kind of describing, I mean, again, I know I get this, everyone thinks I'm like a Luddite or something, but part of the charm of like just throwing in a Super Nintendo game, or, the older era of games, is there was way less of this back then. It was like, if anything, it was kind of the other way. You'd be on your own through this really complicated game, because it would start you off assuming you read the manual or something. But to go back, like for replayability, it's just like, pop in the game and go, the end, done, awesome. And nowadays it's all this cinematics and load times and whatnot.
That's what I find amusing about this, because like this is a reimagining of Metroid 2, and it's like if you look at Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, you turn it on and you press start and you're playing in under 10 seconds. Whereas with Samus Returns, they took a note from Super Metroid's book, and there is still a story opening to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they kick off with like the Super Metroid music, like do 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 do, and they like give you this backstory on like the Metroids were stolen by, or they were being used by space pirates, and you had to take them out, and now you've gone to their planet to exterminate them. But even with that opening, that's included in that 7.5 minutes that I was telling you, that you still get to explore the map and do all this stuff. So it felt great to me. It felt very nostalgic because it had like that Super Metroid type opening, and it, I don't know. I would definitely recommend that game to most people, because like I said, I feel like the what they did on the 3DS is, in my opinion, the best Metroid game I've played.
Better than Super Metroid.
Yeah. It like Metroid 2 on the Game Boy was a great game, but
that's one of my favorites, honestly.
It was a great game. I would say that Super Metroid was my favorite, and probably Metroid 2 was my second favorite. Mm-hmm. But I would put this reimagining of it up at the top, because you played Zero Mission, right?
Yes. Yep.
So Zero Mission was kind of the same way, where it was a reimagining of the first Metroid game.
I always mix up Zero Mission and Fusion, but you keep reminding me that Fusion is the one that it keeps talking to you. That's how I remember. Yeah.
So they kind of did the same thing, where it wasn't like a true, like a port of the game. They actually introduced a lot of other mechanics into it.
I see.
And a couple new bosses and stuff, and I feel like they did a stellar job with it. And so it was the same team that made that as has made Metroid Dread. So I was like, okay, well, this game top notch. Um, Alexander Bruce is singing its praise. I gotta buy it, and hopefully, the next 9 minutes that I play changes my mind.
Well, if there's people singing the praise, I don't think people would be getting that out of some story intro. So maybe the rest of it's better.
I don't know. A lot of people really loved Metroid Fusion, and that to me is um, the weakest of the 2D Metroid games I've played.
You know, it's a weird thing because I always kind of like it when they try something new. Or I don't always like it. I hated like Majora's Mask.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hated it. But like, I don't know. Like another game, I guess that everyone loves to hate that I thought was fine actually was Metal Gear Solid 2. I don't know. Everyone's like,
I hated that one.
yeah, everyone did, and like, oh, the story was so ridiculous and this and that. To me, it was like, I don't know. It kind of was interesting for that reason. Like the game was fine to play, I thought, and then the story was kind of like all over the place. But whatever, you know, I didn't need just another like exactly carbon copy of Metal Gear Solid, and so
Yeah.
it was fine. I guess that's how I feel about Metroid Fusion. Like if every single Metroid game ever made was exactly like that, I would
Mm-hmm.
feel a lot less enthusiastic about the series in general. But just to have
Mm-hmm.
one game that's kind of one off like that, I didn't hate it as you seem to, or like very much.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Look at it with disdain. What is it?
Mm-hmm.
My least favorite of the 2D Metroids? Maybe. I don't really feel like. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I really loved two. Sorry, hiccups. I really loved two, and I did love Super Metroid. I think I liked two probably the most. I tend to really like these. Like, it's almost like instead of a grand sprawling game where you can go and do everything,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like this fairly well self-contained little experience. I always love those kind of games.
Yeah.
It's kind of why like I like Breath of the Wild isn't my favorite Zelda. Like it's cool. I
Mm-hmm.
love that they're doing something new. It's neat, but it's not like I tend to gravitate more to like the like even like Link to the Past is a little more self-contained. So anyway, bouncing all over the place instead of focusing on Metroid. I just feel like Zero Mission was fine, but I wouldn't want them to keep going and making that kind of game,
Mm-hmm.
which it sounds like they have with Dread, which I haven't played. So
Fusion, you mean?
what did I say?
You said Zero Mission.
Like I said, I mix those up all the time. Dread, Fusion. I think I played them in a row in like 2 weeks. And so in my brain, it's like that's all just those games, whatever. So.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's weird how I guess Metroid is one of those franchises, but for whatever reason, I latched onto it as a kid, and it felt really special to me. And then when they try to mess with the formula,
I get that.
It hurts.
Well, so this is I can relate to that very strongly because I feel like when I say try something new, it's kind of like when you play Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2. They're kind of it's not like the next one is a side scroller or something. Like it's kind of the same vein of game, right? But like when things do wildly change, to me it's just a new game. Like if you're just pulling along some kind of like flavory story stuff, okay. But so like when I think of like what I loved about Metroid, of course I want them to keep making those games, like those games, because they're fun. So when you come up with Metroid Prime, I guess.
Metroid Prime.
It's a different game. Like I know Samus is in it and whatever, the music's there, but like it's not Metroid it's fine, it's cool, do it. I'm not like philosophically against it, but I don't feel anything. I don't feel like you're continuing to make the game. So I totally get that. I don't know that I guess I had a lot of I don't know, sentimental connection growing up to Metroid 2, and then Super Metroid felt like I wouldn't say the sequel to that, but like the Super Nintendo's, much nicer looking, colorful version, and it was awesome. And then, I don't know, that was it for me. I just never really was like incredibly excited about Metroid. Metroid Prime was fine. The Game Boy Advance ones or the portable ones were okay. I don't know. Just a feel. Am I missing things in my brain? What happened after Metroid Prime 3 up until now? What else came out?
There was something called Metroid Other M.
Yeah. Actually, was that game?
Oh, and there was Metroid Pinball.
Sweet. I loved Sonic's Pinball. Metroid Other M. What was that? Was that GameCube?
Wii.
It's fading into memory. I remember that being kind of I feel like I might have played that, and I don't know. Vague memories of.
I didn't play it. That was made by Team Ninja. I think it was like a third-person 3D game.
Wasn't it? Is that the one that was all controversial? Like she had what was it? She was supposed to be a strong female protagonist, but there's like a male computer telling her what to do or some controversy like that.
So that's Adam, right? So in Metroid Fusion, they introduced the AI from your ship who won't stop talking to you.
And now
And
it got to the point of controversy. In the next
well,
game.
well, I mean, that was it's revealed that AI is significant to you because it's like the uploaded persona of your commanding officer from at some point in your past, and so Other M is where you're meeting that human and interacting with him, and he's telling you all your orders.
I see.
From what I can tell, nobody has ever liked that character. Nobody in the history of the entire world.
It lasted 2 games. So Dread is
Yeah,
Dread a computer,
Dread's
or
the
is it
same.
Adam again?
It's the same. It's Adam again.
Oh, sweet.
And he it's like, I don't know. It's like in Super Metroid, they show you the little cinematic where your ship is like going and landing on the planet, and in this one they do the same thing, but the AI is trying to talk you out of it the whole time, and then they do like a countdown on when you're approaching the atmosphere and stuff. It's just
now I kind of wish I played it. I like having things to complain about, and if I hated it too, we could both be like, virtually kind of high-fiving each other on this.
Well, you know what? The next game that I'm actually planning on playing, I put that in just because I wanted my gold points that I get from registering a game.
The Nintendo points or whatever.
Yeah. I've actually bought games and then like delayed playing it so long that by the time I did stick it in, I wasn't eligible for the points anymore. So
how does that work? Did
It's
tell you
like
my points
timed.
Really?
No.
This is like maybe DS era. You used to get, I think when you bought a game, you could register it with like Nintendo something and get points. And I never ever bothered or thought about it, but I had bought a bunch of games, and then like years later, our other colleague borrowed all of them, registered all the points, and like bought a bunch of stuff and gave them to me. He's like, "Here, I bought this for you." I'm like, or with your points. But I got this actually pretty awesome Nintendo pen case, and has like a little Mario stitched into it. And I don't keep pens in it. I keep all my DS and 3DS games in it, or all the ones that the most worthy titles that could be in one place.
Right.
Anyway.
No, that's my first hearing of that story. But anyway, yeah, my plan, my plan isn't actually to play that one next. That's gonna be the next game that I play after I play Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Cool.
On PS3.
Wasn't that one also like? Didn't everyone hate that game?
I think I've only heard positive things about it. Lord of Shadow.
I hope you enjoy it. I'm not just looking to hate on it, everything. I just feel like that was another. I feel like that era of Castlevania kind of got like everyone was kind of down on it. PlayStation 1, 2, 3.
According to Google users, 94% of people liked the game.
Cool.
I don't know where to see. I guess I should type in Metacritic or something.
My PlayStation 3 broke. What are you playing it on?
PS3.
So you just have a PS3 around?
Yeah, it's on a shelf directly below my PS5. It has a 85% on Metacritic, so it's pretty good. I've played the first 3 levels, and I feel like it definitely would have been great at the time. I wish I could rotate the camera freely, which it doesn't seem to let you do, but otherwise it seems like it's a pretty solid game.
On point. Cool. My kids have been begging me to play Mario Odyssey, right. But I just haven't had time the last little I don't know, month or so of my life, so that will probably happen soon concurrently with Snatcher.
Nice.
Yeah, don't have any Metroids queued. Did you play through Metroid Prime? Like any of
the first one?
Like all of it? You played all of it?
Yeah, I played all of the first one. I mean, I don't know if I got 100% of the stuff in it, but yeah, I beat the game.
Cool. What do you think?
I hated it.
I didn't. There are games I hate. I hate Majora's Mask. I hate Final Fantasy VIII. I talk about those 2 particular awful experiences often. But I don't know. I guess I went in with no expectation, and I think at the time I was kind of like, I'm not really like everything's a shooter now. Everything's a first-person shooter.
Did you play that on GameCube or on Wii?
I played it on GameCube, and then I also bought the Ultimate Collection.
Right.
And I played that much more recently on Wii, and I couldn't even figure out how to like make it control even remotely reasonably. I think it was Wii U I was playing it on, actually. But yeah, Wii effectively. I remember much more. I don't know, having a much more favorable impression of the GameCube controls, I guess. I feel like everything Wii era was like the motion controls were a novelty, so nothing was
Mhm.
precise. It was all like ooh la la la. So like we kind of lost something for a while.
Mhm.
Maybe
For me, I don't know. I enjoy first person shooters on PC. I enjoy using the mouse and aiming
yeah.
at stuff. And I feel like if I played Metroid Prime with a mouse and keyboard, I would probably have a different opinion of it. But I
Hmm.
do not enjoy first person shooters with a controller.
Yeah.
Um, and I remember going into the morph ball in that game and wishing that I could just have a third person camera for the game because I liked the feel of being in the morph ball,
Hmm.
but I hated the feel of I don't know, the first person shooter where you've got like no peripheral vision and
Yeah. 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 I I
I
get
I felt
that totally. Yeah.
I felt this like weird urge to like scan all the things to unlock the story, but I didn't actually feel the urge to read any of it.
I don't know what to say about that. Uh, I would skip the story happily, probably. I kind of don't remember. I mean, it was a long time ago. I found it novel in a few ways. Like,
Mhm,
yes, it was a shooter. Everything's a shooter nowadays, but they're doing these other things. You're scanning things, and that's kind of neat. Like that was how I felt about it. And
mhm,
then, yeah, you're right. I mean, it was a console game, so at the time, it was always like it felt like a lot of you were starting to get first person shooter games on consoles a lot more, and everyone was trying to figure out how to do that with a controller,
mhm.
and it would just never beat the mouse with precision and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I don't remember hating it. That said, I
I
didn't finish it. So
like Super Metroid was one of my favorite games on the Super Nintendo, and I loved that. Um, like
mhm.
I loved the different upgrades that you could get. Like I loved
Yeah.
getting the screw attack and like being able to like be like the ultimate weapon basically just by jumping.
Yeah.
But I loved like the speed boost or the speed boots. I
Yeah.
loved the the special abilities that you could get, like the wall jumping, and I guess they teach you that with the speed boost, being able to jump straight up.
Hmm.
I loved that there were like the secrets.
Oh, it's an awesome game. Yeah.
I don't know how familiar you are with the secret techniques like the crystal flash or the mock ball and stuff, but like
I'm not.
there, well, with like the so that game can be uh, sequence breaked pretty interestingly. There there's question whether it was intentional or whether it's a bug, but there's something called the mock ball where if you time it right, as you turn into the morph ball while you're running and jumping, you can inherit the speed that you had when you were running.
Okay.
So there's like a gate early on where there's like this platform that the ground collapses out from underneath you, and then there's like a door that closes, and it's like you have to run in order to stay on those platforms, and you have to like there's just no way if you're standing up you can run before the door closes on you.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you're in the morph ball when you're at run speed, you can go underneath it, and then you can get the super missiles before you fight the big plant creature and stuff, and then you can start exploring other places. And I don't know,
Gotcha.
I loved how open that game was, and how there was like the crystal flash is like a special thing where you can like heal by using power bombs and stuff. And there was like a demo screen where they show Samus playing the game if you just wait at the title screen, and they like show you some of the stuff like the crystal flash.
Cool.
Um,
See, these are all things that I either don't know or have long since. I probably
and
never knew because it doesn't sound familiar.
I loved it, and but I just felt like that sort of stuff was missing from Metroid Prime.
Hmm.
Like I don't know. I feel like you do get the screw attack in that game. It's been so long, I don't remember. But I felt
Hmm.
like because you're in this first person mode, you can't like tell
Hmm.
where anyone is in
Yeah.
the level to actually make any use out of it. I don't know. The whole exploration side of it just felt really like a letdown. Like it may have been an okay first person shooter, but it didn't feel like a Metroid game to me.
Well, exactly. It's Metroid in name only, right? Like, had they called it like whatever, Magic Man goes to Planet
Yeah.
X, like no one they would have sold us, right? So stamp Metroid on it and go go go. I mean, it was developed by an entirely different team that may
Yeah.
had ever touched any of the other Metroids.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different type of game, both in genre and even in like pacing and feel and everything. Like it's literally Metroid in name only. So
Yeah.
I guess to me that's where like it's just a different game. Call it what you want, right? I just don't even. So I went in not thinking like, oh, let's play this Metroid game. It was more like, let's play this game. Hey, there's that character, Uluha, right?
There's something about the way they redesigned her armor too that I didn't enjoy. Like I mean, Metroid 1 was a joke with the concept art in there. Like that was not.
Well, come on. I mean, there was no Metroid, and then Metroid was unleashed on the world. It's easy to look back now and be like,
yeah. But by Metroid 2, like the way they drew her like on the box and stuff, like she had this really bulky armor and stuff that to me looked really awesome. And then they took it even further with Super Metroid. Like she's got these huge shoulders and she looks somewhat human proportioned, but like bulky and strong. And I loved it. And for Super Metroid, they like really started like they pinched the waist in really hard and like super elongated the legs and
Metroid
arms
Prime,
and stuff.
you mean?
Yeah. What did I say?
You said Super Metroid.
Oh yeah. No, for Metroid Prime, they like really redesigned her and made the helmet is smaller and stuff. And I've never really enjoyed the modern look to Samus.
Yeah, I'm just looking now. You're totally right. I kind of hate it. I don't know. I'll play the old miser again. I feel like we lost something in the early age of 3D games because up until then, like most concept art and stuff was at least like illustrated and it looked so awesome. And nowadays we're getting back to that cool illustrations or like high quality 3D modeling. Yeah. But in the early 3D days, it was so awesome that everything was 3D that like even like some of the maybe not the concept art, but like all the art in the manual, for example, would be just like not in-game 3D, but just like some sort of like Donkey Kong Country computer generated 3D that just didn't look cool to me. So that's not related necessarily to the changes they made to the model, but the model to me just looks, I don't know, sterile or something. Yeah, compared to like just look at the Super Metroid like cover art. I mean, it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it just looks cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of, I don't know, poses where you'll see her in the recent art, and it's like you compare it to the Super Metroid and Metroid 2, and she's always got her legs like braced, kind of far apart, and like the arms are either like down next to the body or like raised up and stuff. But where they started to do it with the Metroid Prime, she starts walking with her legs more like on a catwalk, like a model would walk or something.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that.
That's, I don't know.
Go figure.
It was a change that I didn't really like. So I mean, when Zero Mission came out, I loved that because I don't know, the original Metroid was fun when I was a student, and when I was like a not much older than a toddler. And Metroid 2, like I was watching a video of that too. Like it was fun for its time, but I feel like Zero Mission and Samus Returns are both like really excellent updates that stay true to the original vision of the character.
Yeah. I always wonder actually what the original vision was. Like everyone makes a big deal of the fact it was like an early, female protagonist and stuff, but it was like revealed as a surprise, like it's such a big deal or something, or we have to like hide it. But like I remember when I was little, I mean, I never even registered that as anything. Like I just assumed it was some human inside. I mean, I'm a male, so to me it's just like, oh, it's a guy in there. And then you beat it and you get this like, of course, kind of like bikini girl, and it was like, oh, that's like
I was never 80s. Good enough to beat it that fast.
I had a neighbor who was. I was not. But he was so hardcore and he had the guidebook and everything, and so he showed me. Yeah. And I didn't even then I didn't register like, oh man, it was a woman in the suit the whole time. It was just like, oh, they gave us this like bikini girl to play with because we did really well. Yeah. Like it was so like that's the whatever women as prizes trope or whatever that seemed popular in the 80s. But like I don't know. I almost wonder like, did the creators intentionally kind of do that to have it be like this big surprise that it was a woman in there the whole time, or was it kind of just like, let's just give you this other character to play with? I never really registered if that was even the case. But I definitely, by the second one, it was very much like, this is Samus, the woman in there, right?
They were very clearly trying to trick the player. Like in the booklet itself, it referred to Samus as a he.
That doesn't help.
Yeah. So they were like intentionally trying to do a big reveal at the end
of the first game.
Yeah. Um, I can't find any interviews and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. The music was always killer.
What, like across the whole series?
Yeah.
The very first Metroid, I
I
believe, was done by what's his name, the guy who did the Dr. Mario music, Hip Tanaka, and I always loved his stuff. I'm pretty sure he did the music in the first Metroid. He
Yeah.
totally did. I just saw it. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
so. If you listen to all his stuff, it just has something about it, and he definitely like all that. Dancing, 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 like just the feel of it is very cool and chill. I did like as things got like the newer Metroids with the different composers. Sorry, one sec.
3 hours later.
Oddly enough, one of the things that I identified with this game was when you get the screw attack, there's a little S symbol,
Mhm.
and they like threw that in the booklet in a few places, and I think it was like on the back of the box for some reason. My name starting with an S. I love I love that little icon.
Well, I love that. I have no such memory or attachment. I guess the game started with an M.
Yeah.
The name of the game. I this game being what, the new one or the original one?
Oh, the original.
The original, yeah,
And Super Metroid.
yeah. How do I follow that? I think the very first Metroid. I mean, it just had that. Like, I think a lot of games from the time have that feel to it. Like, it's kind of simple, but there's enough there that's just really fun to explore. Like, it's one of those early Nintendo like super classics kind of. Um, and I liked everything that just got better and better with the series. Like everything you were just talking about with Super Metroid, with having like the different abilities and the way to kind of like sequence things different. Like you can feel that, I guess, blossoming in the very first game, and it was just awesome to have that when like most other games were more like Mario at the time. I mean, it felt like everything was a platformer, at least to me, and like it was more like structured stages, right? Mario or Ninja Gaiden or whatever. The first one, I mean, it's easy now to look across the entire series and be like, ah, that's the first one. It's really old. It's kind of clunky in this way and that way. But like, I think if it was 1980 whatever, and that was the only Metroid, it was an awesome game, right? So the series has always been pretty on point, I guess. At least those first three got it off to a great start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing a whole lot of Metroid by the time I was in college, but I was listening to a lot of covers of Metroid music through my
Really?
college days.
What's the best Metroid song for you?
I think it was Vert did a song called Crystal Flash. Vert.
But I mean,
Crystal
based
Flash.
off what? Is that from Super Metroid?
Yeah, it's oh man, I just found it right now. I'm gonna have to listen to that later. It is a 22-minute long Super Metroid metal medley.
I see.
Which is I mean I'm sending you the link here.
Sure. I will also listen to it later.
You're gonna want to spend 22 minutes, a bare minimum, listening to it.
All
There was
right.
also a guy, man, Stemage. What was his name? Grant
Stemage Grant.
Grant Henry. His stage name was Stemage, and he has a website called Metroid Metal. metroidmetal.com, and you go there, and I think the first song that was uploaded was back in like 2003 or something, and he started uploading some pretty awesome metal covers of the different songs. Like if you listen to the ending from Metroid or the tunnel from Metroid 2, they're fantastic.
I guess I can check that out. I tend to enjoy such things.
I would use the computer lab at school because I didn't have internet to explore that stuff and download it. And
You're dating yourself again.
yeah, I kept that stuff on my portable hard drive so that I could just open it up in QuickTime and listen to it.
Sick. Winamp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that was pre-YouTube, and I didn't have the internet at home, so
Yep. Good times. I always like I like most of the Metroid music. I like the intro. I like all the stuff from the first one by Hip Tanaka, and I liked the Super Metroid, or sorry, Metroid 2. I don't know what specifically the tunnel is, but just
the tunnel is like
which I saw they reused in the new game. I don't remember much from like Metroid Prime. I remember Metroid Prime had a lot of like Like there was no music; it was just kind of like ambient
Yeah,
stuff. And I remember
yeah,
that. Yeah, I remember their kind of opening thing. That was okay, I guess.
yeah. It wasn't. I wasn't sold on the Metroid Prime music.
Yeah.
Um,
Again, I think if you
uh,
go in thinking, "Man, this is a new Metroid game. I can't wait to see what they're doing with Metroid," then
yeah,
you're definitely priming yourself either for disappointment or like an entire reimagining of expectations. I think just
y-
going in and being like, "Here's this game, la la la," is a little better. I mean, they made 3 of them. It must have been
yeah,
popular.
yeah.
Um,
And they're making a fourth one right now.
there you go.
So yeah, a
Yep.
lot of people liked them, but I don't know. It was the Zoomers.
Those guys, man.
I guess so. So I mean, technically we're millennials, but we're like right on that cusp where we're as much generation, what is it, X,
Yeah,
as we are millennials, because we grew up without internet at the beginning of
yeah.
our
We
lives.
remember when like Johnny Depp was young.
Yeah,
Edward Scissorhands,
that's the first movie that comes to mind when I think of him.
there you go. Compared to everyone else, right?
Everyone else is like pirates.
Yeah, I was gonna say that dates you. If that's the first
Yeah,
movie that pops into your mind,
yeah,
if it's Nightmare on Elm Street, then you're probably well past
older
40.
than us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta run.
Okay.
I should play some new Metroid. I don't know. I can't
I
think of an instance I picked up a 2D Metroid and played through it and thought, that sucked. So I mean,
so I mean that's the problem is I know you've got hands that get sore a little bit
oh
when playing
man,
games,
the
and
3DS especially.
the 3DS one, I feel like it's such a great Metroid game. Like they added a bunch of abilities and stuff, and they really spaced everything out and linked stuff up in a way that you're frequently using the abilities. Like
Mhm.
you're using the morph ball, or sorry, the spider ball and stuff, like as you're fighting the boss of the
Mhm.
game. And
Cool.
but as a result, like you're like using
Crushing
all the
your
shoulder
thumbs.
buttons all the time
Yeah.
and kind of cramping up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'd recommend that one, but maybe you need to just go straight to Dread because you're going to have the Joy Cons, and maybe it'll feel better.
You're pushing me on the game you hate, or maybe are not are primed to hate.
I mean, if you were to pick it up, like I said, it's going to be a few weeks before I get to it. We could totally play that one at the same time.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll pick it up then.
I got mine. I only had to pay points on my credit card, and then I paid the taxes.
Gotcha. I could probably do the same. I think I have a bucket of, I don't know, points somewhere on something.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I
Right.
do get a run. So
All right. Cheers.
cool. Take care.